Hey, MCE crew, you've heard by now, Dollar Tree is officially dead. That's right, people go to Dollar Tree, they're trying to save money, but now that's all a thing of the past thanks to inflation. We've been talking about inflation forever on the channel. We're going to keep on talking about it because it's affecting your wallet, your ability to achieve financial independence because you don't have as much money to put into assets. So we're going to have some solutions on what you need to do now in order to, soften that inflation blow and keep some money in your pocket so that you can invest. But first, let's talk about what happened at Dollar Tree. Dollar Tree, this is really one that makes a difference here because the whole reason why people go to Dollar Tree is, again, because they want to save some money, okay? I know people who have large families, few kids, and Dollar Tree helps them stretch that paycheck. And it's very, very important. Dollar Tree on Tuesday said it's adding $1.25 and $1.50 price points at stores. Until then, it was the last big dollar chain store sticking to $1, the $1 price cap. The news signals the death of the traditional dollar store concept in the U.S. And look, this is not hyperbole. They're not going back, okay? We're not going to say, a year from now, oh, Dollar Tree, they went back, now they're $1 again. If they have made this switch, the executives at Dollar Tree have calculated that inflation is not transitory, despite what Jerome Powell has said. In fact, he came out the other day and said he's frustrated because inflation hasn't moderated. We all told him it wouldn't. You've heard me on this channel 100 times say inflation was not transitory, that it was here to stay. And look, I don't work for the Fed, but I knew it, all right? Dollar Tree, the last of the big dollar store chains selling items for $1 or less, on Tuesday said it was officially breaking the buck by adding $1.25 and $1.50 price points. The news sent its stock price soaring as investors eyed sales growth without the restraint of the $1 pricing. It also signaled the end of the true $1 and under concept for U.S. retailers. Now, why did the stock go up? Because the investors know that now Dollar Tree is passing some of the expense on to the consumer, okay? And that is going to, make their books look a little better. They're not absorbing all of these high costs from inflation on their own. They're passing it on. Dollar stores have existed in the U.S. for decades and started to take off in the post-World War II economy. While these stores began life selling products at $1 or less, most were quick to diversify and raise prices in line with inflation, but Dollar Tree didn't. They resisted that urge, kept it $1 for the people. Dollar General, the largest dollar store chain in the U.S. by store count, opened its first location in 1955. Created by the father-son duo J.L. and Cal Turner, their idea was to replicate Dollar Days sales found year-round at department stores in Nashville, Tennessee, and Louisville, Kentucky. All right, so that's it. No more dollar stores in the United States. I think there's another one called Five and Below, but they're way above $1. With these dollar stores, the biggest change in strategy until now came in 2019, 4 years after Dollar Tree acquired Family Dollar, when it started to test higher prices in a handful of stores. The assortment, dubbed Dollar Tree Plus, featured $3 and $5 items similar to what shoppers find in Family Dollar stores. All right, so they kind of combine those strategies there. The change came after activist investor Starboard Value challenged the store's commitment to $1 pricing in a letter to Dollar Tree CEO at the time, Gary Philbin. Dollar Tree has kept its prices at $1 since its founding 30 years ago, Starboard wrote, despite the fact that a dollar in 1986 is worth approximately $2.30 today due to inflation. See, so the investors knew what was going on. And they knew that, if this organization, if this company is going to reach its full value, its full potential, if it's got any chance of doing that, it's got to raise prices to match inflation. So now the folks that wanted to save that money at Dollar Tree, they're coming out of their pocket with a little bit more. So how do you lock in these prices? All right, let's talk about one thing. Natural gas prices are slated to increase quite possibly into the winter of 2021 and 2022. So what I did months ago, back in March, was I got a lock on my natural gas per therm unit usage, all right? Somewhere around 55 cents a therm. Now, I checked the other day, the price is up to 95 cents per therm. And it's probably going to go even higher than that because right now we're going into the winter and those prices are going to, the demand rather, is going to increase. My cat understands it. You hear her. She likes to be warm. She's laying in the sunlight right now. So I want you to try and lock in a price on energy. If your house uses natural gas to heat the house, if we're in the northern hemisphere, or if you're in the mid-Atlantic area or somewhere, in the higher latitudes, you know that you're going to have to heat that house. So try to lock in a rate now so that you won't be exposed to those spikes based on demand. Remember those folks in Texas last winter? A lot of them that were on those variable rate plans, their bills shot up by thousands of dollars, okay? And I definitely don't want to see that happen to you. So look at energy as one area where you can lock in a savings right now before it further inflates. Another area we talk about a lot is food, okay? So I've talked to you about going out and buying a freezer, locking in those prices by buying that meat, putting it in that freezer for your family. Look, I love doing that because I'm going to be quite honest with you. Coming from the family I came from, I told you before, we were very poor. And my mother was diligent about stocking things. Now, we didn't always have what we wanted to eat, but we never went hungry. So now, I can afford to eat what I want to eat. So I put things that I like to eat in that freezer. Okay. And the other benefit of that is you're not, especially again, as we go into winter in the northern hemisphere, you're not exposed again to having to go out, and days are getting shorter and all that jazz. Okay, so it's more convenient too. But if you can lock in a price today on a 34 pack of chicken wings, and next week that pack is up by 10%, you've saved money. And remember, the more money you keep in your pocket, the more money you have to purchase assets that are going to provide income and or appreciate. So, optimally they'll do both. But we talked about that ad nauseum on the channel as well. Okay, so those are two ways you can go in and lock in those prices right now. I'm going to give you a third and then I'll get out of here. If you've got any maintenance to do on your car, go ahead and get it done. You want that car to last because the longer that car lasts, the less expensive it is. And you don't want to have to go out and buy a car right now because due to the chip shortage, cars, new cars, and pre-owned cars are in short supply. And we know when demand is up and supply is down, that means the prices are going to be up. So go ahead, put that work into your car, okay? Make that bad boy last. I'm telling you, I love driving cars long after I finish paying for them. I think the smallest amount of time we've kept a car is 11 years, okay? Because I don't care what you think of me when I pull up at the stoplight. Although my car is not a hoopty, it is, a fairly decent car. There's no dents in it, there's no rust, but it's not the latest car. It doesn't have all the bells and whistles. You're not going to look at it at the stoplight and say, wow, look at that car, okay? But it's paid for. And that means I've got money where I would be putting into a car payment, I'm putting into the purchase of assets. Okay, so Keep that car running well. Any maintenance it needs, go ahead and knock it out. All right, guys. I'll talk to you soon.